The college football experience, Pitt Panthers 2022 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, presented by WynnBET. Bet $100 at WynnBET and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by IPVanish. Yes, IPVanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off if you go to IPVanish.com/SGP. That's IPVanish.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by SGPN Discord. Yes, make sure to check out our new Discord server. It is the perfect place to interact and sweat out bets with the entire SGPN crew. So just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience, Pitt Panthers 2022 season preview episode. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
Raise up your Iron Cities, because we're talking about the Iron City.
I mean, look at our hats.
Yes,
here.
the hats are quality. Subscribe on YouTube to the College Football Experience, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And also remember, subscribe to the College Basketball Experience, because we certainly talk Jeff Capel and Pitt Panther basketball. They've landed a couple nice recruits, but this is the football episode. It's time to talk it. And I'm joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi, well.
Yes, we love Pitt. Yes, we love Pitt. I don't know if it works as good with this song, but either way, Patty C,
it works. It's working, buddy.
It is working with Pat Narduzzi. And look, I mean, ACC championship, his second coastal championship in his reign there. He's 53-37 in 6 years with the Pitt Panthers.
Just one losing season.
Yeah,
what's that? 6 winning seasons. 6
winning seasons, and look, there's a lot to like. Obviously, you know, they were very close to having a pretty perfect season last year. If it wasn't for the Western Michigan Broncos.
Ouch.
The MAC.
Oh man.
And they might have something to say about that this year, but obviously that was brutal. And then in the bowl game, no one played. So to quote Pat Narduzzi at ACC Media Day, that game doesn't really count.
Yeah. Did he say that?
Yeah, but Mel Tucker disagrees with that statement.
Took exception to that, I'm sure.
But I think the big thing was,
I'm with Tucker on that. You know what? You got a game, play it. It counts. Play it.
It's true. And they didn't have Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess I think the quarterback a little more important. And I know Pitt was without one of their corners, but Mark Whipple is no longer the OC at Pitt, and he moved on to Nebraska. And then shots fired when Pat Narduzzi was asked at some type of function or some type of media thing about about Mark Whipple, basically saying, that he was not very good in a way. So he said, like, we never ran the ball. We didn't commit to running the ball. We were getting 10 yards of rush against Wake Forest, but we still didn't run the ball. Pat Narduzzi's a former linebacker. He's a defensive coach. I get it. But at the same time, I think if you're Mark Whipple, you're saying,
What the fuck did I do wrong?
because hold on one more time.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
Tell me is what he says right there. And I think because when you hop into it, Patty C,
It's hard to find a whole lot of fault.
They were the number 8 offense in America. They were the number 3 scoring offense in America. For total yards, number 8. I mean, your thoughts?
I mean, how about passing it versus running it?
I'll say that they were 77th in rush offense, and I think that bothers old Pat Narduzzi. But 8th in pass offense. But then again, look, and I love running the ball. It's hard to argue with someone that had a top 10 offense.
I mean, the number of times we've seen Pitt with kind of like
your first ACC championship,
the same offense over and over, where it just didn't have that kind of explosive passing element to it, and now they have it, and that's a problem. Like, I get that you didn't run the ball quite as much, but that's. I mean, he was being an ass left and right during media days. He was. I mean, Pitt, between him and Servassier Dennis, very interesting media days for Pitt.
Linebacker, linebacker for the Pitt Panthers. Well, they went out and hired Frank Cignetti Jr. and the Cignetti name.
Hey, it resonates
with these hats because he is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and guess what? His first ever job as a coach with the Pitt Panthers back in 1989. Patty
C.
Coming full circle. He was also the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach with the Pitt Panthers in 2009 and 2010. Most recently was Boston College's offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach, but he comes home. This guy spent a lot of time in the NFL. All right. He's been with the Chiefs, the Saints, the Niners, the Rams again, the Giants, the Packers. He's also been at Fresno State, North Carolina, Cal, Rutgers. I mean, he's been at Boston College all around. He
gets around quite a bit. I will say last year, leaving a little bit to be desired, scoring offense wise.
Well, Jerkovic got out for the year.
It's true, but 93rd in the nation. Let me take a look real quick where they were in 2020.
And you know who
68th.
Okay.
They could be a little better on offense.
Well, you know who his brother is, right, Patty C?
Well, I do know that.
Frank Cignetti Jr.'s brother is Kurt Cignetti Jr., who is Kurt Cignetti. That is James Madison's head football coach.
Hello.
This is a pro. I'm telling you.
Let me tell you this though: the Frank Cignetti Sr., a West Virginia guy. Oh. So there
backyard brawl.
Yeah, a lot of bad blood in the family right there.
Well, let's hop into it, man, because like I said, 3rd scoring offense in the country, 77th in rush offense, 8th in pass offense, 8th in total offense. Kenny Pickett's gone. Him and his fake slider, and well, they're still in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
but
playing at the same stadium.
Yes. Unfortunately, hey Pitt, please can you go back to your old stadium?
Yeah.
I don't like this corporate NFL stadium you play at. Yeah. Your old stadium, your old campus stadium was fucking awesome.
You don't even have the Heinz name to lean on anymore.
Just destroy all those apartments.
Yeah.
Or whatever, or all those shopping malls.
Blow
stores.
up the dining hall.
Yes.
And put a football
and let's play some football. All right. All 5 starters are back on the offensive line, Patty C. I mean, the line of scrimmage looks incredible on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Kedon Slovis, can he stay healthy? I know they got a couple of serviceable backups that they kind of are fond of, but it seems like it's going to be Slovis's show. Jordan Addison was supposed to be part of this offense, and guess what? Clear tampering, if you ask Pat Narduzzi, because another thing in the offseason was besides Mark Whipple, I think he called Lincoln Riley and said, "Hey, fuck you." All right.
Rightfully so.
Yes. Because Jordan Addison, he's now a USC Trojan, seems to be complaining about something I thought there. Right. I saw reports that maybe the NIL deal, something wasn't happening, but regardless, he's gone. He won the Biletnikoff Award a year ago. Why transfer when you just won the ACC championship and you won the Biletnikoff? Because it's got to be just money, right?
Money, and I guess he's thinking the ceiling at USC may be higher. I don't know that that's true for this year though, and this is going to be his last year.
It's not like Pitt hasn't had some great receivers. Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
maybe he saw Whipple leave and he said, "I got to go too." I'm hearing what coach is saying in the locker room. We're running the ball 95% of the time from here on out.
I don't know though. We'll see.
Kedon Slovis, 3 years as USC starter, pretty great stats.
He is. He's gotten dinged up a lot though.
Yes.
He gets dinged up a lot. Hangs on the ball a little bit.
68% completion percentage, 58 touchdowns, 24 interceptions in 3 years, but nearly 70%.
Well, that's the irony is they took him from USC. So can you really?
It's a trade.
Yeah.
Who won that trade?
Slovis for Addison.
That's I feel like that's.
I feel like it's probably more important to get the quarterback, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, one of 3 wideouts is back, Jared Wayne. But they did some things in the portal. Their running back is back. Can you want to take a shot at this guy's name? Israel Abanikanda.
I feel like isn't that the UFC fighter
Abanikanda?
Something like that.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's solid and he's back, and they're going to run the ball more, which is good for him.
Abanikanda.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
The defense coordinator is Randy Bates. Last year, 42nd in scoring defense, 6th in the nation against the run, 115th against the pass, though. And that's what's interesting because they always have DBs. They had a guy get drafted last year.
Yeah.
They gamble a lot. They are the epitome of an aggressive defense.
Is that partially Narduzzi's doing?
I think so. Yeah. They gamble hard. They will send, which I think makes it like I said, like years ago when Clemson, I think I was on that game. When Pitt upset Clemson, because when you play the style that you play,
yeah.
If you're not ready, if you're not prepared, if you're thinking this is just going to be a win, Pitt packs a punch.
Yeah.
More than a lot of programs, I feel like. So
well, they have talent, and anytime you're willing to go all out like that, you're going to stay in some games that talent says you shouldn't. But when you have talent, then you're going to win some really big games. Which they have before, but at the same time, when you play risky, you also lose some games.
Get bit. Yeah. They were 39th though, so still a top 40 defense. Patty C. They were the 39th best defense in the country and the 8th best offense. That's a formula for a lot of winning. If you can do that,
that is. They did get their one, as you pointed out, really defensively flawed effort. Well, I guess there were a couple where they gave up 40 or so, but the worst of which was obviously. Western Michigan.
Yeah. Caleb Ellaby, those guys, the Broncos making the MAC, just
making the MAC look great.
Yeah.
I feel like this calls for a sometimes maybe good.
Yeah, no, definitely situation.
Defense.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
And look, this entire defense with 3 or 4 back on the D line, but you can make a case that they're 5-6 deep on snaps, on sacks. Like they're experienced on this defensive line, man. And they got all ACC first team defensive tackle, Kalijah Cansey. This is Pitt. I've said this shit for years. The amount of talent that has came through there, they haven't been able to capitalize. I mean, you can go through and you can go on and on and on about the great NFL players that have came out
and they should be. It's Pittsburgh. It's a big city in a super talented state. That's probably the most talented city within that state.
Yeah.
And there aren't, I feel like, real super academic, limitations that are going to keep them from recruiting those players. And they get great talent, as you pointed out.
Yeah.
I mean, between Aaron Donald and Darrelle Revis, you probably have like
2 of the better defensive players of the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Larry Fitzgerald.
Maybe the top.
Larry Fitzgerald's probably the best receiver in the past 20 years, probably.
Yeah. It's like 3 guys that are like top 3 that have
you
come
add
out.
in LaShawn McCoy. You add in who was the other running back that was like him that went to the Eagles. He was kind of a scat. He was kind of a scat back, but they just have players, man. They always have players. Paris Ford, we just saw him in he got signed, I think, right? They just got guys. I mean, you can go back all the way to Tony Saragusa just passed away. He was a guy at Pitt in the 90s. Curtis Martin, Tony Dorsett. You can go on and on and on. Dan Marino.
There was another one.
Mike Ditka.
Oh, Deion Lewis.
Yeah, Deion Lewis is who I'm thinking of for the Patriots. I'm sorry, not the Eagles.
Yeah.
But they just got guys. Kevin Barlow. I mean, they just keep a stable of NFL talent normally.
Yeah.
So this defensive line and this offensive line, I think, Clemson might have the best defensive line in the ACC, but not far behind that is the Pitt Panthers. And then when you could put their offensive line up there, I think Pitt might have the best offensive line in the ACC. They get just 1 of 3 linebackers back, and that is Dennis, who you're referring, or Savakia Dennis. but they bring in 2 transfers that I think will fill the void. We'll get to them in a bit. Their entire secondary, with the exception of 1 corner, is back. And this, once again, this is even misleading because the guys got starts. Safety Brandon Hill, first team ACC. Marquise Williams, first team ACC. I mean, they got guys. They got guys that are really going to make it. I mean, this defense should be fucking nasty.
When they had Johnny Majors, really toward the end of Johnny Majors' tenure, and then Jackie Sherrill, they were a top 20 team. 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 times in 9 years, from 75 to 83. Can they return to that? Is this?
I think so. I think they really could. They're a true sleeping giant with NIL and stuff, and being in a city like that. That's a football city too. So their kicker is back. They are breaking in a new punter. What do you make of this roster? I think this roster is pretty fucking good. Can Narduzzi not like? I think Pat Narduzzi is a great coach at developing talent.
Yeah.
Now, for coaching decisions in game, there's been a couple blunders. Yeah. Maybe he's learned from those. You know, what do you make of the roster though? I think it's pretty fucking good.
Oh, the roster looks great. You know, and depending on how Slovis performs, I keep getting him and the guy who's going from Georgia to West Virginia mixed up, just because they have
JT Daniels. Well, they were both at USC at the same time. Yeah,
they're so intertwined.
Well, JT Daniels is going to play in the backyard brawl with 2 USC quarterbacks going head to head at it.
Week 1, the beaches come to the mountains.
Yes,
but I think I actually think Slovis is the better of those 2 quarterbacks. Maybe slightly.
I do too.
Slightly. So I'm confident that he'll do well, and if he can stay healthy, then I'm very confident this team's going to have a very good year.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk about this season, this year with the Pitt Panthers. Talk about what Las Vegas expects out of Pitt this year. Talk about what we expect here on the college football experience. We're gonna talk recruiting rankings and transfer portal as well. But first, I gotta get us paid. All right, I want to tell you that the Pitt Panthers 2022 college football experience team preview episode. Brought to you by WinBet. Bet $100 at WinBet and get $100 free bet. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WinBet. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WINNBET to claim your free bet today. We're also brought to you by IP Vanish. IP Vanish is the official VPN of SGPN, and they're offering 70% off if you go to ipvanish.com/SGP. That's ipvanish.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by SGPN Discord. Yes, make sure to check out our new Discord server. It is the perfect place to interact and sweat out bets with the entire SGPN crew. Just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We're also brought to you by Odds Trader. Yes. This is a fun place. Odds Trader is a place to compare odds from all the major sports books. You can also compare the different sign-up codes and promo codes from sportsbook to sportsbook to get the best deal. The app also lets you, or provides you, I should say, with key game stats, injury reports, projected game day weather for bettors, you know, that make the most informed bets. It also has a bet tracker, so bettors can keep track of their records of your games going on all day, all your betting activity. So go to oddstrader.com/Blue Wire. That's OddsTrader, the #1 site for all your game day bets. All right, we are back talking Pitt Panther football. Patty C, I am very curious your opinion of the portal here. We've been grading the portals this year because the transfer portal is batshit crazy in college football and college basketball. So they lost some guys, but what should we do first? Losses or gains?
Do it how we normally do it. Let's do gains first.
All right. Well, they went out and got wide receiver Jordan Means from Louisiana Tech with Skip Holtz. They went out and they got wide receiver Konata Mumpfield from Akron, and I think Mumpfield's the one. I know when we had Phil Steele on the show, he's really high on Mumpfield. When I did my Akron preview, we have 2 Akron previews out. Go listen to them. The gentleman, the play-by-play guy from Akron that was on the show, he was that was a big loss, was losing Mumpfield. So that is one to circle for an emerging star. Tight end Dylan Devaney from Georgia Tech transfers in. Man, coastal to coastal. Linebacker Shane Simon from Notre Dame. He's penciled in as a starter. That's a huge get for them. They also got linebacker Tyler Wiltz from Missouri State, who I think might start. Bobby Petrino, Missouri State. He's going to be on the cusp of starting. He's going to get some burn.
They do need linebackers.
Yeah. So
linebacker is the only part of the defense that's inexperienced this year.
And you look at what they lost, Patty C. They did lose some guys. Let's get to it. It's obviously, Jordan Addison, the elephant in the room here. Blitnikoff winner. He is now at Southern Cal. Running back Sibo Flemister is in the portal. Quarterback Joey Yellen went to the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. Defensive end Emmanuel Belgrave is in the portal. Tight end Kmar Mimes is in the portal. Quarterback Davis Beville went to Oklahoma, so they lost 2 QBs when Whipple left. But linebacker Preston Levant is in the portal. Offensive tackle Michael Statham in the portal. Cornerback Hunter Sellers to New Mexico. Linebacker Cam Bright to the Washington Huskies. Defensive end Naquan Brown to what was that, Northwestern State? I'm sorry, not Norfolk State. Defensive lineman Noah Palmer to the portal. Running back Todd Sibley to Albany. Wide receiver Shaki Jacquees Luis to the Akron Zips. It's like they had a trade with Akron too. Yeah, they both trade wideouts.
I think that actually may be. I don't know. I need to see more of this Mumpfield guy.
Linebacker Leslie Smith to the portal. I think a linebacker AJ Roberts. He's over and out at Stony Brook. Linebacker Wendell Davis went to Northwestern with Pat Narduzzi. AJ Davis, their running back. He went to JMU, but I just saw him hit the portal again. I like AJ Davis, but did they win or did they lose the portal, Patty C?
No, when you mentioned Shaki Jacques Louis, I think that took me from
Addison and
essentially a push to an L in the portal.
Really? I think it's a push because you get your starting quarterback and you get 2 linebackers that are going to be starting for you.
Yeah.
And a wideout, I guess.
I mean, they only brought in 6. It sounds like they lost about 15 or so.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
There's depth that's missing there. But you did bring in some impact guys. I guess let me see real quick. They were ranked 49th nationally in incoming transfers, 8th within the conference. Kind of average there. I would say it's kind of like a push. Maybe a slight.
It depends if Slovis stays healthy.
Yeah.
If he stays healthy the whole year and performs at a high level,
then that's probably.
Then I think they win it. If not, then perhaps they lose it. Patty C, talk to me about recruiting.
Yes, let me get into that real quick, and then I got a couple nuggets I want to ask you about.
Sure, let's go.
This team wildly outperforms, or at least did last year, their recruiting ranking, and so this speaks to your point that recruiting rankings can be. I think you think they're very frequently. I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking for you.
No, I think they are overrated. I think the schedule is the most important thing in college football. If you have less, you look at the teams that normally in the top 8 to 10, they normally only play 4 away games.
Yeah.
I think that is more important than your actual class.
Yeah.
Because I think if any team gets that type of treatment.
Yeah. On the whole as well, that's going to drastically impact.
So I do believe, I mean, we saw it last year. Alabama played their first back-to-back away game in a while. They lost.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're still really good. They're maybe in a big playoff. They'd still win. I don't know, but I can tell you that I trust. I see the slant from the schedule point,
especially if you play an advantage for like decades on end. The accumulation of that advantage is going to lead to you getting all the most talented players, and so not only in a 1-year situation is that the case, but obviously over time that compounds. Now Pitt. I think Pitt plays a pretty fair schedule most of the time. I don't think they have like a huge advantage. In fact, I would say I don't know. Western Michigan was a subpar non-conference
last year. Yeah, this year's harder. This year you got the backyard brawl at Tennessee and a trip to Kalamazoo.
That's true. Those are 3 games that can't be slept on. Certainly, at least 2 that are going to be very hard, and 1 you can't go to sleep on. So anyway, without any further ado, the recruiting rankings over the last 5 cycles: 48, 58, 42, 33, and 68. So to vary from 33 to 68 in 1 year's time means they're not super consistent, and I don't know. I guess I don't know what makes Pitt what they are as a recruiting like entity.
You think they're like middle of the pack ACC traditionally, like or
ACC 9, 10, 8, 5, 14.
But they've been in the ACC championship twice.
It
They've
sounds
won
like
one.
they're on the lower end of the ACC and like not really should not be a nationally relevant team, and yet here we are. And it speaks to what you were saying, Pat Narduzzi being an excellent talent developer.
Yeah.
You know
what? I think Aaron Donald. I mean, I know that wasn't Narduzzi. I don't believe. Was that Narduzzi? It might have been his first. But
any defensive coach that's just gonna like, I mean, it's like Tony Bennett in basketball. It's like you're gonna get in there and you're gonna work your ass off, and that's how they're gonna win games. And it's the same thing that like say who's Wake Forest?
Dave Clawson
does with the offensive side of the ball. He develops. You know, you stay in the system, you get better, you get coached up. And so that's what he does. But they also get talent in there. Maybe these recruiting rankings just aren't giving Pitt their credit. Here are some questions though. Pat Narduzzi, has Pitt had the same exact coach for the last 40 years? Or at least the last 20?
They had Todd Graham once.
Todd Graham for 1 year, but Dave Wannstedt, Paul Chryst.
I don't like Walt Harris either. I mean, he might be a nice guy. I'm saying as a football coach.
I don't really even remember Walt Harris very much, but I feel like this team has been doing this. We play defense really well.
Yeah.
We run the ball.
It's true.
And I just wonder.
Graham was there 1 year and said, "You know what?
We can't have this.
These fans hate me. I keep throwing the ball around."
I do want to know. I do wonder if some of Whipple's success will have gotten into Narduzzi's DNA there, and he's willing to throw the ball around a little more.
They are must-watch TV this year. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the sweet graphic behind me with 8.5 wins as the win total. Now the juice on that, Patty C, Vegas kind of spot on with it. They don't know if it's going to be 8 or 9 because it's over -110, under -110. They seem as either a 9-3 team or an 8-4 team. Your first reaction for a Mark Whipple-less offense?
Well, having watched ACC Media Days, I came away really impressed. My first reaction is to slam the over on this pretty hard.
Well, I can tell you too. The fact that they don't get Clemson, the fact that they don't get, well, it depends if you believe in Florida State or not, but they don't get Wake Forest, who won, or NC State. They don't get the 4 best teams by odds
in the Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
Wow. And they get some of their tougher conference or division games at home, namely Virginia Tech. The trip to Miami at the end of the year, we'll get to this in a second, but this schedule lines up really well too.
Well, one of the best things that we love college football, real college football, not this shit they're trying to make it into what the NFL junior. No, we don't like that. But I'm glad the backyard brawl is back. I'm very excited for that game on Thursday night. I do think it should be played the final week of the season and not the first game of the season.
Of course.
I'm still just happy to see it on the schedule.
Beggars can't be choosers at this point.
Moving forward, can we schedule that in November? Thank you, Pitt. If you have any questions, you can find me on Twitter at @DColbyD. All right. Patty C, the backyard brawl is back. This should be bananas. This game should be played every fucking year. I don't care what anybody says. Thursday, September 1st.
What a great kickoff game.
This is great. This is so great. And I'm very intrigued here because Neil Brown is best offensive line ever. He says, going up against this defensive line, the 2 Southern Cal quarterbacks going at it. I'm going to take Pitt to win this one because it's in Heinz.
Yeah.
But what are you doing here?
I mean, all-time record 61 to 40 in Pitt's favor here. I think the fact that they have a better team coming back, presumably, and the fact that it's in Heinz, of course, you got to lean Pitt here.
Yeah. Then week 2, they get a little bit of an extra couple days to rest here as they get to watch. Well, I guess Tennessee plays on Thursday night as well against Ball State. But week 2, the Tennessee Vols come to Heinz Field. Patty C. Narduzzi is 2-0 against Josh Heupel. Something about it, the physicality, I think, is an issue. Hendon Hooker coming up to Heinz Field. I got Pitt winning this, man.
It was a really good game last year. What was the final on that one?
Like 42-34 or something like that.
Yeah. And then, look, Tennessee seemed like they were closing kind of strong, but then ends up losing in the bowl game to Purdue. I think the fact that it's at home, give me a slight edge to Pitt again, although this is a really good game again.
Yeah, it is a great game. And it's one that, Pitt
make or break Pitt season here.
And then we'll talk about the trap game.
Yeah,
it's the third game.
Yeah,
because imagine if you beat West Virginia and Tennessee, you're thinking this is our year.
Yeah,
because let's be honest,
getting both of them at home is so massive.
Those could be two of the better teams on their whole schedule.
Yeah.
They go to Waldo Stadium in Kalamazoo for a rematch against Western Michigan. There's no way they overlook it after that being their first loss last year, or their only loss in the regular season.
Well, no, they lost to Miami in the regular season.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay, so, I got them winning this.
I do too.
Then they get Narduzzi's alma mater, Rhode Island Rams, where Pat Narduzzi played linebacker for them back in the day. Shout out to the Rhode Island Rams out there in the FCS and the CAA.
How did Rhode Island do last year? Let me take a peek at that. 7-4.
They're still going to win this.
Respectable, but yeah, you got to lean. Not one you can completely go to sleep on, but got to lean Pitt, obviously.
4-0, and then they're home to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Any chance of getting bitten here?
No. If it was in Atlanta, I would say yes.
Yeah.
They're 5-0. Now this one is sneaky. Saturday, October 8th, the Virginia Tech Hokies come to town, and Brent Pry. I think this is going to be an interesting game. I mean, I lean Pitt, but you add the stakes to the game.
I definitely lean Pitt. Virginia Tech's had a really hard time in Pittsburgh before. The stakes of the game aren't massive. Virginia Tech, probably to me, the biggest question mark in maybe all of college football this year. We'll see what they got, but I don't think they're going to have enough to beat Pitt this year. Do you think?
We got Pitt 6-0.
Yeah,
we got Narduzzi not Narduzziing it. That's bold. They go into the bye week 6-0. They come out and they go to the Shack, Papa John Stadium down there in Louisville. The fact they get the bye week and the fact Louisville's run defense has been terrible lately, and I just feel like they're not a very physical team. Well, you know who is Pitt.
Yeah.
I got them beating Pitt. I'm sorry. I got Pitt winning at Louisville.
Louisville coming off of a bye, having just been on a back-to-back road.
This game could be a pretty wild one though.
Malik Cunningham could.
This game's awesome. Yeah, it's low key fun.
You just gotta hope. Well, you know what? This is one we're not having like experience at linebackers and proven guy. I mean, I guess Savasier Dennis is if he's the sideline to sideline guy that can neutralize Malik Cunningham, then that could be a major factor for Pitt. I think they beat him.
I think they beat him too, but I got them losing on this back-to-back away when they go to Chapel Hill to take on the Tar Heels. This was a wild game last year in Heinz. They barely escaped. I got North Carolina getting some revenge on them.
This does seem like it would be the most obvious spot based on North Carolina's talent and the back-to-back road spot here. I want to see what has happened in this. North Carolina's kind of dominated this series. It looks like they're 15-5 all time, but Pitt's won. Sorry about that. 10-5 all time. North Carolina against Pitt, but 2 in a row for Pitt. 2 in a row for Pitt.
Can they make it 3? I got them losing that. You got them winning that?
I got them losing that.
Okay, so
I got them at taking their first loss by that game.
7-1, and they're home to the Syracuse Orange men. They're gonna beat Syracuse.
Yes.
8-1 at Scott Stadium. Bring your tiki torch. They take on the Virginia Cavaliers. What are you doing here? This is an interesting game to me.
This is
one they could lose. This is what, because look, there's going to be one loss that we're not seeing.
Yeah, this was a shootout last year, 48-38. We'll see if Slovis can do what Pickett did and keep pace with Brennan Armstrong. That's not an easy task necessarily.
I'm going to take Pitt.
The fact that it's in Scott Stadium makes it a little iffy.
It's sneaky. This is a sneaky spot.
Yeah, be careful. I'm going to take Pitt too. But
then they're home to the Duke Blue Devils. That's a win. And then they go to the Hard Rock Stadium. Should be the Orange Bowl. Fucking idiots. Hard Rock sucks. You
gotta figure Miami.
I think I took Miami on when we did the Miami pod. I said this would be a 50-50 game, but I took Miami. Either way, I am on the over.
10-2. We're saying here. 9-3 at
they
worst.
They can even lose to like Tennessee or Virginia Tech.
Maybe like 8-4 at worst, but
8-4
likely 9-3.
Yeah,
and kind of almost as likely 10-2. Like,
dude, I'll be honest. Like, what is one that they're definitely going to be the underdog in? because Miami has
I think
potential.
this number should be 9.5 or at least 9.
Miami has potential to, like, if they start losing a couple of games, normally if you follow the trend, I know Cristobal is building new energy.
Quit. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So, like, tell me one where they're 100% gonna be,
and fan interest dwindles, and they'll have just come off a back-to-back road where they're playing at Clemson the week before.
Where are they underdogs?
Where is Pitt underdogs?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds crazy. They could go 12-0.
They're probably favorites in every game. I mean, at the outset of the season, I would say a road trip to Miami, they look like dogs. Maybe.
Yeah.
But by what? 2 points?
Yeah.
A point and a half?
Yeah. It's very interesting.
They could be favorites for all I know.
I mean, but at the same time, they could lose at Western Michigan again.
Yeah. Yeah,
to Western Michigan.
We're gonna see the difference. I mean, we're gonna see what kind of coach Narduzzi is without
Mark Whipple.
I mean, we've seen it. What were his
he
records?
got to the ACC Championship one of those years.
Pat Narduzzi's record at Pitt: 8-5, 8-5, 5-7, 7-7, 8-5, 6-5, then 11-3. His 1 year with Mark Whipple.
No, I think he was there.
Was he the year before when they were 6-5?
Yeah, it was COVID though, I think.
Okay.
Or I could be wrong. Actually, I think you're no. He was there the year before because Walt Bell had a couple years at UMass.
Okay, but either way, decidedly mediocre or barely above average for his entire tenure as a Pitt head coach prior to Whipple's arrival.
And one of the things that Pat Narduzzi does, and I know everyone will probably say this, that's a Pitt fan. Even take the Whipple era out of this and just look at what he's done as a head coach. I think he's a good coach, but at the same time, there are plenty of games like the Western Michigan game where they play down to competition, their style of ball.
Yeah.
Perfect example. I go to look at the 2019 schedule right now. A 1-point win against UCF. That UCF team was really good, right? But only a 3-point win against the Delaware Blue Hens of the FCS. Only a 3-point win against Duke. Only a 7-point win against Syracuse. An overtime win against North Carolina. And even their losses, man, 8-point loss or 7-point loss to Boston College, 4-point loss to Miami, 7-point loss to Penn State.
I mean, the bowl game you said, did you mention the Eastern Michigan? They beat Eastern Michigan by 4 in a bowl game?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you kind of, hopefully it's a little bit of Whipple mixed in because I playing those. If you play that many close games, just the law of averages says you're bound to lose a couple.
Yeah, you got to stay aggressive offensively.
I'm on the over. Patty C's on the over. I cannot wait for the backyard brawl. That is everything that's great about college football. This game should happen every year, folks. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Remember, subscribe on YouTube as well. And like I said, the College Basketball Experience is rocking. All right, we love talking college hoops. We want to see Jeff Capel get that Pitt Panther basketball team back to the days of Jerome Lane and when Ben Howland was there. I feel like those teams were tough. They had this toughness about them.
Yeah, who
even
the
guy, Jamie Dixon era.
The guy with no knees that took him into the final or Elite Eight at least.
No knees.
Final
what do you mean
four?
No knees? Like injuries?
The big center, I guess, who was.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
He had no cartilage in his knees.
Yeah, no knees. I love it. Anyway, we got you covered on the College Basketball Experience. Subscribe over there, and then obviously check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. All right, they're already doing NFL futures. All right, NFL. They're going all through all 32 teams.
DeJuan Blair.
There we go. Yeah. There we go. No knees. But yeah, so check it out. The Steelers preview's coming. All the other teams we're going team by team. All 32 teams. We got you covered on the Sports Gambling Podcast. We just had Pat McAfee on the show. We had Mike Leach on the show. Phil Steele says some great things about Pitt. Go listen to that episode on the College Football Experience. But also please, if you can, give us a 5-star review, people. Go to iTunes and say some nice things about us. Give us a 5-star review. If you do that, take a screenshot, show that to me on Twitter show that to us on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. That's the College Football Experience account. I'm personally on Twitter at TheColbyD. If you show it to me or via the College Football Experience account, we'll send you a College Football Experience t-shirt. It'll look like that.
Beautiful.
Pennant if you're watching on YouTube. Patty C is on Twitter at PattyC831. NC Nick, our ACC specialist, is on Twitter at NC_NICK. Give him a follow.
Got a question for you.
What's that?
Beyond the regular season, what's the upshot or what's the best case scenario for Pitt?
Honestly, I think they could go 12-0.
Win the ACC championship. Can they get by Clemson in the ACC championship?
If they play Clemson, but yes, they could, because Clemson's offense, Pitt always can fuck with Clemson because I told you the style of ball they play.
Yeah.
I don't think Clemson faces a team that plays like Pitt.
Yeah.
Like I don't think
athletic and aggressive.
I don't really think there's another team in the ACC that has been playing like Pitt lately. You'd have to go back to like Virginia Tech when first entering the ACC.
Yeah. That's athletic, aggressive, and disciplined.
Yes.
That's like Miami's athletic and aggressive.
Well, and they have like a fuck you mentality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're gonna get dirty, and sometimes I feel like that happened in the game with Deshaun Watson at Clemson. I don't think Clemson was ready for that type of physicality and that type of fuck you mojo. They were not scared for one bit.
Man, I was watching the what was the game in the pouring rain? I think it was North Carolina. Was that just
I think this past year? Yeah.
You could see that mojo you're talking about. The tight end, whoever he was, the big ass dude, looked like he was on some kind of meth or something, probably in Pitt. But
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're a Pitt fan, best case scenario is I like your schedule. I do think that back-to-back away, but getting the bye week before the back-to-back away, huge. Make sure you take care of West Virginia and Tennessee, because that's another thing. Tennessee kind of gets them in a great spot. You win the first backyard brawl in like 15 years.
Oh yeah, letdown city.
Tennessee might, and maybe we should rethink that because
it's so fortunate that it's in Pitt.
True,
and so fortunate that it's early on, so that they're still probably have some focus.
It makes it even tougher for me now that I think about it. I'm like, man, Tennessee, that's a great spot.
Even with a loss, though, if they go 12-1, they win the ACC. They're probably as a 12-1 champion going to the playoff. Is this team bound to take Kedon Slovis back to Los Angeles to play maybe Jordan Addison in a national championship setting?
I got to see Slovis go a whole year healthy.
Yeah.
That's another thing. This team's fascinating to me though, because each and every week I feel like they're must watch, and it starts with the backyard brawl. Woo, folks, give us a 5-star review. Subscribe to the College Football Experience. Tell a friend. We cannot wait for Pitt Panther football. This is the College Football Experience. We're both on the over. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.